And welcome to this week's episode of Mobile with the Guru. This is your host, Ricky Cadden, Symbian Guru, and today I'm outside of the Facebook offices in California to talk about something really cool that's kind of come up in the last couple of days. Basically, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Nokia and Facebook have been in talks about some really neat integration with Nokia's smartphones and Facebook's social network. So basically, Nokia is kind of considering two options. The first one is to integrate Facebook's phone book feature into the Nokia phone book. What that would do is show you your friends' online status. It would update their contact information. If they changed it on Facebook, it would change in your phone book. You would also see their pictures as their profile picture, and you could see all their status updates and that sort of thing. Very, very cool. I'm really excited to hear that Nokia is actually talking to them about this because I think that would be really, really neat. Unfortunately, the other option that Nokia is apparently considering is just starting their own social network. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Definitely integrate with the networks that we're already on. It would just make everything so much easier. So obviously nothing's final on that yet. Like I said, it's just kind of the Wall Street Journal claiming sources. We should probably hear some kind of announcement next week at the Mobile World Congress. However, I doubt if it will be anything major. We already know that the Nokia N97 is going to have somewhat of an integration with Facebook. We saw the widget on the home screen there. So hopefully that will become available for all S60 phones, but we really just don't know right now. All we can do is really, really hope that Nokia doesn't try to go their own route, because that's just a bad idea. S60 is really the only platform right now that does not have its own Facebook application. Right now, all we've pretty much got is the m.facebook mobile site, which is it's useful, but it's still kind of a pain. I would much rather have some sort of push notification or easier interaction than me having to go to the website and get the information. So if you really just can't wait for that, though, and you really want to do Facebook on your S60 phone, Skyfire just updated today their beta browser. And the Skyfire browser is a native application for Windows Mobile or S60 phones. And basically, it uses a server farm somewhere to do all the processing, and then it sends your phone just smaller bits and pieces of the main websites that you want to visit. You can visit pretty much the whole internet, and they've got even some more robust multimedia features like Silverlight, Flash 10, that sort of thing integrated as well. So you can watch Hulu on your phone, for instance, or any number of really cool multimedia sites. So that's definitely cool. The newest version, which is version 0.9, was just announced today. And basically, this is going to integrate Facebook and Twitter right there on the front start page of the browser. You can sign into either account, and then you get your stream of information just right there on the front page of your browser. Very, very cool. With the Facebook integration specifically, you can update your status, which is obviously very, very nice, and see your friends' statuses and that sort of thing. But the really cool thing that I think is kind of overshadowed in this is that there's a new feature, as while you're browsing with Skyfire, if you find a web page that you really want to share onto your Facebook stream, all you have to do is hit Options, Send to Online. That's going to send that link straight to your Facebook so you can share it with your friends. And nobody's really doing that sort of integration right now. That's very, very cool. So I'm really excited to see that from Skyfire. The browser is not quite out of beta yet, obviously by the name, of course, but it takes quite a while to load on my Nokia phones. And it didn't really support, for instance, logging into WordPress and that sort of thing. So obviously a few bugs to work out, but it's a really nice product so far, and they've shown some really good improvements over the versions. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of the full public release whenever that comes. So definitely one thing you do want to keep in mind, though, is the Skyfire browser does use their own servers, so you probably don't want to go through like your bank account. With your bank's online website or anything like that that's super secure or at least super personal, because it is going through their servers, which you don't have control over. So just to think about that. One thing that I've been playing with this week is the T-Mobile Shadow, and oddly enough, T-Mobile named it just the Shadow. It's not the Shadow 2 or the Shadow 2009 or anything like that. It's just the Shadow. And there was already a T-Mobile Shadow, so not really sure how we're supposed to keep track of those. But in any case, this is kind of their newest, I guess, consumer-oriented Windows Mobile phone. It's obviously a slider. You can see it's pretty thick, actually. It's not exactly a small unit. The back's nice and plain. And it's got a 1.8-inch display here on the front. And below here, it's got the 20-key kind of almost QWERTY keyboard. And I played with this kind of keyboard before on the BlackBerry Pearl, and I was not a fan. I found it really confusing and frustrating trying to switch between predictive and non-predictive versions and all that. And I do have to say, while I'm still not a wild fan of it, it is a lot better to use on here for whatever reason. It's easier to manage. I'm more sure of what method I'm using as far as predictive text, or if I'm just going to multi-press, the various buttons. So I'm still not a huge fan, but it's a little bit better with this implementation. One thing that is kind of cool is the D-pad. Obviously, you can push up, down, left, right, and the center, but it also has a physical wheel that you can scroll through. This is definitely really handy for long lists or anything that you need to scroll through a lot of. You can use it for web pages and that sort of thing. It's a lot like Nokia's Navi wheel, which we find on like the N79, for instance. But this is actually a physical wheel instead of the touch sensitive. And I am finding, like I did with the Nokia, it sometimes picks up scrolls that I'm not meaning to scroll. Like I accidentally will move it around a little bit when I'm using it. So it's not 100% foolproof, but it's doing pretty good. It's not a touch screen, but it does have Wi-Fi on here, so I'm connected to my hotspot right now. And it also supports T-Mobile's UMA Hotspot at Home service, which lets you make basically internet calls over your Wi-Fi that don't count to your plan. Cool thing about that is it also will automatically transfer that call from Wi-Fi to your regular cellular network. So if I start a call here at home and then go to the store, I can use Wi-Fi at home, and then when I get out of range, it just switches to the cellular network seamlessly. It works really well. Very impressed with T-Mobile's implementation of that. So as you can see, it's got a cool camo background. This came in the phone already. I did not download that to the phone. Big fan of that. However, it's obviously a white phone, and the back, I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of a shimmery blue color, which obviously does not match camo very well at all. So I kind of wish I could change the case out for like black or something other than white. I don't know. In any case, that's the T-Mobile Shadow. It's actually pretty nice. I've been enjoying it. The battery life is pretty long. And it's only got a 2-megapixel camera back here with no flash or anything. But it does record video. So, take what we can get. So that's the T-Mobile Shadow. The other thing that happened this week is Nokia, quietly, without saying a word, opened up their Mail on OV webmail service. What this does is basically you get an OV username at ov.com web address for email, and it looks a lot like Gmail, really. It's a web-based form. You've got folders that you can do. You can set up filters and that sort of thing. You get 1 gigabyte of storage, which is decent, and automatic spam filter and that sort of thing. What's important to know, though, is that's probably not supposed to, not designed anyways, to replace Gmail for anybody. I mean, like me, you've probably got 5 or 6 email addresses that you check with various tools and whatnot. What Mail on OV was really originally designed for, and this was actually launched at Nokia World in December, is for S40 phones, for people in emerging markets who probably will never use a real computer. A lot of people, their phone is their only computer, and that works great. It's cheaper. It's easier for them to get and to keep track of where it is versus a computer that they may have to leave at home or a laptop that they may have to lug around. So the phone as a computer is definitely a reality for a lot of people. And Mail on OV is actually designed for S40 phones anyways, where you can actually set up the whole account and use it without ever touching a computer, which is kind of weird if you think about it, because most of us started email with a computer. So they're basically adding this webmail as a feature, as opposed to a lot of other webmails that start as webmail and add mobile access as a feature. It's kind of flip-flopping the whole email setup, which is kind of cool. So I've got mine set up. I've gotten like 2 emails on it. It's like I said, it's not going to replace anything for you, but it's definitely cool. And for right now, without having really tested it, it works pretty well. So time will tell to see how well they integrate that with the other OV services. Right now, it has its own contact management, but that's not integrated with your sync on OV. And then that buddy list is not updated with your contacts on OV, which is different. Contacts on OV is actually like an instant messenger service, whereas sync on OV keeps track of all your contacts. If you're confused, that's okay. So am I. Hopefully they'll iron all this OV stuff out soon. So last thing real quick is I do also have a new Nokia N85. Nokia sent me this after my initial look at the Euro version found some build quality issues that a lot of users have also found. The slider, for instance, is very loose. On this unit, I'm pleased to say that thus far, I've only had it for like 2 or 3 days. Thus far, the slider is very, very solid. The other issue that a lot of users are finding is that this bottom panel here lifts off actually, and at some point actually completely disconnects with the rest of the phone, which is not a good thing. In fact, the Euro version that I had actually did that after about a week and a half to 2 weeks of use. So, like I said, I just got this for the last couple days, and I'll be using it pretty heavily to see if I can duplicate that. Supposedly, Nokia's fixed these build qualities with the NAM version, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that and look. But other than that, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget, this week, starting Monday, probably technically Sunday night, is Mobile World Congress. It's happening in Barcelona, Spain, and we'll have full coverage here on Mobile with the Guru starting next Thursday. You can also check out symbianguru.com for coverage throughout the week. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day.